Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley, and we are on that countdown to the early signing period. Another big recruiting weekend for the VAWLS. The last chance for visitors to come to Knoxville as we wind down this early signing period. But we're going to talk a little bit about numbers. We're going to talk about expectations. Obviously, Caleb Webb set to commit later today. I believe it's around 3:30 p.m. Josh Heupel, Cody Burns, and the rest of the staff were in town to see Webb on Thursday night. Everything seems to be trending towards the VAWLS. I feel good about that one. As far as on the negative side of things, it looks like Zach Evans will not visit this weekend. A lot of hope there, a lot of excitement around his name and how he would fit into this offense, how he would be a guy that could step in and immediately replace Tyon Evans, but it seems like he is going to Ole Miss. We'll let you know if anything changes there. As always, do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and smash that like button just below the video if you will so kindly press that thumbs up. Also, if you are new to the Talkin VAWLS Network, you're asking yourself, what is this? Who is this guy? We're not experts. We're not insiders. We are fans just like you. So if you enjoy the content here, go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live or when we drop new content. But let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's take a look at this article. This is from Rocky Top Insider, written by Rick Butler. The article here says, Tennessee football surging in the recruiting rankings. And that's something I kind of wanted to talk about today when I saw this article. Because going into this year, we've talked about it, over and over and over. But the expectations were kind of low on what we thought Josh Heupel would be able to do in this class of 22. There are reasons for that. You can call him a lazy recruiter. You can make excuses. You can say this, that, and the other. But the bottom line is Tennessee was facing an NCAA investigation. Josh Heupel came in late, but he's had the opportunity to prove himself on the field of play, kind of generate some buzz, some excitement. A lot of guys kind of got some momentum here late in the year. But let's take a look at the article. It says, head coach Josh Heupel and the Tennessee staff have been hard at work on the recruiting trail lately. Since the VAWLS win over Vanderbilt in the final week of the regular season, the Tennessee coaching staff has been all over the country checking in on recruits and commits. It says here now that the regular season is over, the coaching staff has a bevy of statistics to boast to these high school players. For example, the VAWLS overhauled their offense this year to the tune of a top 10 scoring offense in the league under the direction of Heupel. However, the VAWLS showed a significant amount of improvement on the defense this year too. While the numbers may not be as drastic as the offensive comparison, Tennessee has built a sturdy foundation under the leadership of coordinator Tim Banks, combined with assistants like Willie Martinez, Rodney Garner, and Brian John Marie. The VAWLS defense is certainly headed in the right direction. That's the thing. Josh Heupel coming in, a lot of questions. We were asking the questions as a fan base. This fan base was divided when Josh Heupel was announced as the head coach. Some people were kind of excited, a different brand, a new style of Tennessee football. Others, not so much. Others said, oh, here we go, another Butch Jones. This is never going to work. But now we all seem to be brought together. We're starting to buy in because, again, Josh Heupel has had a season to show you what he's going to be able to do here at Tennessee. Going into the year, experts, talking heads saying 3 to 4 wins. That's the ceiling. Here Josh Heupel is 7 wins during the regular season with a chance to make it 8 against Purdue in the Music City Bowl. So Josh Heupel has had an opportunity to sell himself. Article goes on to say here, through the first couple of months of the season, there hadn't been too much action on the recruiting scene for Tennessee. Since the beginning of November, though, it's easy to tell that Heupel's impact has sunk into the minds of these high school recruits. According to 24/7 Sports rankings on November 4th, 2021, Tennessee had the 32nd ranked recruiting class nationally, which made for the 12th class in the SEC. Since that point, Tennessee has received 4 commitments in total. Fast forward to December 1st, when Tennessee had the 24th ranked class nationally and 9th in the SEC. Then less than a week later, December 7th, Tennessee once again climbs in the rankings. This time the VAWLS were in the 20th spot nationally and jumped up to 8th in the SEC. Now at the time of the article on December 9th, Tennessee ranked 18th nationally and 7th in the SEC. You got to remember, obviously where you rank nationally, it matters. It does matter. But all we care about is the SEC. Because again, it talked about ranking 18th nationally but 7th in the SEC. I've got the numbers here up on the screen. You can see where Tennessee falls in the recruiting rankings in the SEC. Obviously, Alabama, Georgia up there at the top. Texas A&M with their big money deals sitting at 3rd. But this is good for the 2022 class. I'm happy with where Josh Heupel is at. I'm excited to see how this finishes up, how they wrap up, how the numbers play out. You know, again, Caleb Webb set to commit later today, around 3:30. How do the numbers work out at wide receiver? It's something we've talked about the last couple of days on the channel. Chaz Nimrod, Cam Miller, Squirrel White already committed. If Caleb Webb commits to Tennessee today, like I fully expect him to do they go tell C.J. Smith to look elsewhere? What do they do with the numbers? Does Squirrel White end up moving on? You know, a guy he's rated a 3-star. You've got Jason Swain on his YouTube show talking about how he runs routes like a 5-star. How if Squirrel White comes to Tennessee, he's going to be pushing for a starting job on day 1. Alabama, Georgia, Auburn showed interest after Tennessee makes the offer. He commits to Tennessee. Does he move on? Is C.J. Smith a fallback guy? What I'm really excited to see is how Tennessee finishes with this defensive line. Obviously, Rodney Garner, best defensive line coach in the country. Not only when it comes to recruiting, but when it comes to development, when it comes to teaching, when it comes to player evaluation. How do they finish on this defensive line? Jeffrey Umba, I think it's good news. He decided he's not going to visit anywhere this weekend. His mom was in the country from France. She's gone back home. I think things look good for Tennessee there. Tyree West, 4-star defensive tackle. Seems like it is down to FSU and Tennessee. Again, when Rodney Garner is in the mix, never say never. Jared Verse, made a video on him in the transfer portal, the Albany kid. Been taking a lot of visits, kind of been all over the place. I feel strong about that one too, but the icing on the cake, the big one that I've almost given up on at this point, but I saw an article that came out, I believe it was yesterday, talking about Walter Nolan, asked if he would, if there was any chance he would come to Tennessee. He said possibly. Kid's all over the place. I don't even know if he ends up signing anywhere on early signing day. I know that was the plan, but I could see it going all the way into February. And even then, once he signs the dotted line. Made the video yesterday talking about money, NIL, free agency in college football. Never say never with Walter Nolan. Who knows where that kid ends up? Who knows where he ends up as a freshman? Will he enter the portal, end up somewhere else? But if Tennessee can find a way, if Rodney Garner can find a way to land Walter Nolan, that would be the icing on the cake for this recruiting class in 2022. Let's go back to the article from Rocky Top Insider. It says, here in the month of December, Tennessee is still trending towards receiving even more high-ranking commits. 4-star running back Justin Williams put Tennessee in his final 2 this week and has 3 out of 4 crystal ball predictions to Knoxville from 24/7. Meanwhile, 4-star wide receiver Caleb Webb will be committing on Friday today as he decides between Tennessee, Michigan, and Louisville. Webb currently holds all 6 crystal ball predictions to Tennessee from 24/7. So again, you know, I agree with what's being said here in the article. I believe Justin Williams and Caleb Webb both end up committing to Tennessee. How far does that bump Tennessee in these rankings? It says if Williams and Webb both commit to Tennessee, they will be the VAWLS' 3rd and 4th highest recruits in the class, respectively. Again, Josh Heupel finishing this class with some momentum. Currently, Tennessee sits in the 7th spot in the SEC rankings. I just showed you guys that on the screen a moment ago, behind Arkansas, Kentucky, Missouri, Texas A&M, Georgia, and Alabama. You guys hit that comment section. Let me know what you feel. How do you feel Josh Heupel has done in this first full recruiting class at Tennessee? Because that was one of the big things people talked about when he was hired, when he was brought to Knoxville, that he was lazy and would not be able to recruit. But I think when we look what he has done, based on the circumstances, I'm happy with where he is at on the recruiting trail. Now, I expect that to bump up in 23 and in 24, and that's where I will really start to grade Josh Heupel on what he does when it comes to recruiting. But I think if he gets the right pieces in place, I think it's very, very telling that Tennessee has not had a lot of guys hit the transfer portal. Some of them, yeah, they bounced out during the season. Fine, good riddance, let's move on. But once the season ended, I expected there to be a handful of players. And yeah, it's not done, it's not over. That's still a possibility. Josh Heupel's building something special in Knoxville. But hit that comment section. Let me know your thoughts on how he's done with this first class. What are your expectations for the class of 23, the class of 24? If Josh Heupel finishes with a top 15 class, top 10 class, how happy are you? If you have not done so yet, please smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Also, go check out the official merchandise of the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go to bonfire.com/store/TalkinVAWLS. Any and all support is greatly appreciated. It's going to wrap it up for this one. Again, you guys keep your eyes. Caleb Webb, 3:30 this afternoon, going to be committing. Doubt I will be able to make a video. If I can, I will. Just stay subscribed. You'll know when we drop that new content. But that's it. I'm out of here. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
The songs howl like we poets sat in our chains, soaking moonlit falls, unbroken past this inundated orb that we call home. And it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.